nag, and it's just something you can't deal with, I can try to do a makeup with you sometime, but let's let's try to keep that schedule as much as possible for just the purpose of time, and then we can all be on the same page. The other question I have, guys, and think about this because I don't have a strong feeling about this yet, and let me just flip this over, and let's look at. Let me go pull up a calendar. And as I look at my calendar, guys, grab a calendar,
Okay.
all of you, because we'll start on the 14th,
Okay.
and we'll do a 14th and 16th next week. But the following week, we get into, the week prior to Christmas.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is, can we do a Tuesday and omit Thursday?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay with me.
I actually want to try to be out of town on Thursday, so I want to do a Tuesday. The Tuesday. So,
Can we maybe, if possible, if we are going to do the Tuesday, can we make it a live one instead of aftermarket?
oh, we could for sure. I mean,
If it's okay with everybody else.
if that works with the group, I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, it's good. Good here.
Dave,
Yep.
I know you that was potentially problematic, but you're okay.
No, the only thing for me was I preferred the aftermarket on Tuesday only because I couldn't do it Thursday, but anytime Tuesday's fine.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I'm going to plug in then Tuesday, a 10 or a noon coaching session, and we'll do a live market for sure. Jose, that's not a bad idea. Let's look at the following week, and I'd like to get one in there. Now, whether that be the 28th or whether that be the 30th, I think that's up to you guys. I don't know. And really for me, I could do both of those days, it looks like at this point, both 28 and 30, if you guys are okay with that.
I'm open to either day.
Or I could do both.
Both is fine.
Guys, anybody have a problem with both? Because we can march through it.
Okay. I'm good.
I'm
Let's do-
okay with either day.
Okay, let's do this. Let's schedule both Tuesday and Thursday on normal sessions. So Tuesday will be at the close, and Thursday will be during the lunch.
Okay.
How about, and again, it's just an idea. I expect, and that Thursday is the 30th, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's 2 days before basically the New Year, right?
Yeah.
It is.
I'm not sure if there's anything that's going to happen during the live session because of the fact that, if people decide to work on Monday and Tuesday, they're probably going to take from Wednesday straight off. So
I think you're right. But go ahead.
maybe switch it around where the Tuesday would be live, if it's okay with everybody, and then the Thursday would be, because at least, my idea is this, at least if there is something, we might be able to see a setup that would be more consistent with what we would see the remaining of the year versus any potential setups that we'd look at Thursday, 2 days before the New Year's. We may see them again, a year later, but probably not.
Actually, guys, as far as that's concerned, from the sake of time, where some of you are in the East Coast and we're getting into the end of the day, I could do both of these sessions during the day.
Okay.
Okay, both Tuesday and Thursday we could do during lunch. And here's why. I'd like to do, as we go into our normal schedule, an after hours, because then we have no distractions. We're not looking at markets. We can really focus on some of the things we want to deal with, and we just don't get distracted. I got a feeling, guys, that the 28th and 30th, and even on the 21st, that we're not going to get distracted much. I just don't think, in previous years, these markets are pretty poor during, follow-through is poor and everything else. So I think we could actually do both of those during the day and not have too much distraction that would compromise our lessons. And then we can still see what's happening, as far as what's going on during market hours. So for those 2 days, I'm fine with doing both market or during both lunchtime hour sessions. If you guys like that,
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
is that good?
Yes, here.
Let's do that. I'll change, guys. We'll change. Just make this note. I'm going to change this Tuesday session then from the close. Let's change it to a lunch session. Is that all right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like
All
that.
right. And so effectively, the 14th and 16th, we will have. Boy, what just happened? I put those in. They didn't stay. Now that's not right. Okay, so Tuesday is going to be a close. The 14th. I'm just talking out loud.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't save them. The 16th will be a lunch.
Okay.
I'm just going to save all these in my calendar, so I've got them good to go. And then the 21st, Tuesday, will be lunch. The 28th will be lunch. And the 30th will be noon hour lunch.
Okay.
And then as we go into the 4th, now, I hope, by the 4th, everybody's back to normal biz. Things are going well.
Oh God.
And that will be a close. We'll go back to our normal schedule. And then the 6th of January will be a lunch. All right. Okay. I think that'll get us going, and we'll be on a good schedule for the next few weeks.
Oh,
That sound all right, guys?
we missed the Russell.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we missed the Russell. There was a good sell. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there could have been. I've got
Yeah.
calendars. I don't even have a chart up on it
Yeah.
right now.
All right. Okay.
Let's go look at it real quick. All right. So, Carl, where would you buy that? I'll go change this over. Let's go. I'll pull the screen up. Now, guys, the other option we have with this program, and this is really why we ended up doing it in a GOTA meeting as opposed to the program that Pristine uses, is I can give you control. You can share your own screen. You can effectively be the moderator and whatnot. So we could, at some point, if you want to project your screen, we can all do that. So it's a nice little feature. So let's talk about this this little Russell trade right here. Where would you buy it?
But that 1150 bar from the midpoint, not bad. I think. And it's very small stop too.
Right in here somewhere?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, the 2
There's
minute.
the 1150.
No, the 5 minute it looks better on the 5. But the 2 minute you have a short
Right.
bar, we could buy two for a scalp at least. 1, 2, 3 on the 5.
That's the old. Let me go change this. I changed that earlier today. I wonder what's.
And this bottoming tail there that took
So-
out the law off the midpoint, nice.
That one there.
Yeah. And that 1, 2, 3 that took out the law, I mean, Greg likes those.
Up here.
Yeah. I was gonna scalp
Okay.
it, I wasn't looking though.
Yeah.
On the 2 minutes also look very good. I mean, the 2 minute looks also very good there. The 1, 2, 3, if you look at it, took out the lows of the small consolidation and went up. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, right there. Nice.
I would agree. I would agree.
It was there without the other markets too. Yeah, it was the strongest.
Yeah, it's a good eye.
And there was a shakeout on
I
oil
have-
off the midpoint. Okay.
Yep, that's a good observation. I like this. We'll talk about these. And in fact, the PowerPoint, we may even talk about them. Let's talk about it today, just real quickly. Guys, one of the things that I'm going to stress a great deal with you is failures and how failures become real important as far as trading them. They give us the amplifier. They give us a little bit of an edge, and they typically will ignite moves that don't come otherwise. Not all the time, but the majority of the time, they do wonders for igniting moves. So, as I read this, there's a little breakout failure that occurs that it doesn't all the way complete. I mean, we'd really almost need to trade underneath this bar to get a complete breakout failure. But we do break out, and it takes a while to get going in. I like that this red bar gets ignored with this subsequent bottoming bar, and that's what you see on the 5 minute that puts it in a little bottoming tail. So the combination, and that's the other thing we're going to do, is work on multiple time frames, using multiple time frames to try to line up, and using, if our 15 is cooperative, then we'll look to the 5. The 5 minute is cooperative, then we can look to the 2. And if the 2 minutes cooperative, luckily enough, you can look to the 1. Now, you don't normally get all those time frames that'll line up perfectly, but you can at least get a pretty good feel for it. And if we can get those entries off of the 1, I will try personally, and it doesn't mean you guys need to. As you guys get comfortable with your trading style, and many of you have it already, I'll introduce you and show you how we can take them from the 1, which gives us very good stops, very small stops, and gets us into trades a little quicker than otherwise. But that's a good observation. I like that. All righty. Okay, let's do this. Guys, let's talk a little bit about, and do you all now have a screen capture program at your access? Yep.
Yes.
Good. And gentlemen, you can capture anything, and I'm going to encourage you as we go that some of this stuff, as we get into working on charts and working on bar by bar and working on setups and all the things that go with it, I encourage you to catch any and everything that's of interest, particularly because I'm going to ask you to go back, and as we have these discussions, you can go back where our discussion is fresh in your mind and make notes on your charts that you ultimately will probably implement, or at least modify your existing trading plan and implement some of this stuff going forward. And the best way to do it is just capture a chart, and then, as we say, after our sessions, then you can go back and put all the fine detail in from our conversations and get that stuff just fine-tuned to your plan and your style and the way you want it to be. But I'm glad you've all got something to capture. Now, the next thing, with respect to the size of this group, guys, I've not done 4 people. I've done 2 and 3, and I've not done 4 before. In talking to you all, one of the things that I concluded in this group is that everyone is it felt like that you're all very similar in trading skill and education, so that as we go through this, I don't think we're going to have anybody that is drastically behind. I think all of you are very capable and have a very good sound basis and foundation for your trading knowledge, which I think that's really the only reason that we put all of you together. Now, having said that, I got to tell you that expect, when you calendar this, guys, honestly, I think you could expect about an hour and a half on a session, not an hour. Now, I know that this was, we told you this was an hour, but I'm going to tell you that with the group this size, I'm okay, and I expect that if we do go an hour and a half on many of our sessions, I want to cover the material more than I want to watch a clock. So we're going to have a few extra questions, which is what I want. So taking a little more time to go through this and have you guys do the questions and stop me and say, okay, what is this? And making sure that you grasp the concept. There's a few of these concepts that I know that in prior experiences takes a little time to grasp the concept. Some of you may grab it right off the bat, and some of you may struggle just a teeny bit with a few of these concepts. And I want to take the time to make sure that when we leave that concept or that skill, why you're comfortable with it, and you pretty much have the rules, the ground rules, the how-to, the why-to, the where-to, all the stuff with it before we leave it. So I'm not worried about a 60-minute buzzer going off. I want to make sure that at the end of our lesson that we've completed our objective and we've gotten the information across, and basically it's stuck. Okay. So really, just kind of plan on most of these sessions running as an hour and a half. I don't think we're going to get through many of them. We're not going to get through any of them in an hour. They're going to be just a little longer than that. So with that, kind of pencil that in. Try not to get an appointment right behind us at 60 minutes, because you probably leave a session going if you do that. The next thing is, along the way, guys, at any point, if you feel like this is not what you wanted or not what you expected, you are welcome to drop out, and we will refund you whatever unused portion of the fee that you have paid. If you get in there, gosh, guys, the last thing I want is you to sit through and think, boy, this isn't what I wanted, and I feel bad about having done this, and I kind of want out. Guys, you absolutely just tell me, even if you give me a private email or something, you're welcome. If you're not getting what you think you paid for, then let's get the money back to you. Okay, I have no problem with that. No problem with that, and I would prefer that you do that if this isn't satisfactory to you. The next thing, and guys, stop me anytime you want if you have questions. The next thing is we're going to have some homework, and let me show you what that homework's going to be.
All right. Homework.
All right. Right off the bat, there's going to be 3 things that we're going to deal with. We're going to deal with your current trading plan. We're going to be dealing with charts and tracking your trades. And these are things that if you're not doing now, we're gonna get you doing and get that part of your daily routine. So the first thing I want is, let me ask this, do any of you not have a written trading plan? And it's okay, guys, don't be bashful if you don't have one. Well, here's what I'm going to ask you is, send me your trading plan. So right now over the weekend, I'd like to have them for the weekend.
Okay.
Whatever it looks like, whatever it is, and I want to see your trading plan.
Okay.
If it's 1 page or if it's 20 pages, I want to see it.
All right.
The next thing we're going to do is I want to start seeing, and you can do that as quickly as you want, but certainly come Tuesday, you're going to do it every day. You're going to send me a chart or two. That's your call. But you're going to send me a chart on what happened during the day for you. Trades you took, trades you didn't take, setups that you saw or didn't see. Essentially, let me show you a couple of things, guys. This is only suggestions. It works for me, but it may not work for you. But I'll show you this, and you can kind of see it. What I've got here is, and actually there's a bunch of charts here, and I haven't been very good at really separating them and everything else. But you can see that I keep subfolders, and I've got charts in basing patterns. I've got charts in climatic buy setups and or sell setups, actually. Just daily reviews that I've done. Charts that are just specifically FOMC days. I've got head and shoulders patterns. I have M-tops. I have just miscellaneous patterns. I have trend days. What do charts look like in a trend day? And W bottoms. And when I do a chart and I'll classify it, put it in that folder. And the reason being is when I get into a trend day, for example, we haven't seen them in a while. How is it that we get onto a trend when those trends can be a little hard to get onto? And if we haven't seen a trend day in a while, we probably won't recognize, right off the bat, we won't recognize the ways that we can get on this thing. So the same thing with a climatic buy. How long has it been since you guys have taken climatic buy setups or climatic sell setups? It's been a long time. I haven't seen one on the E-minis in quite some time. So I'll refresh my my mind. I'll refresh these setups periodically so that when they do come, I'm already essentially ready for it. I know what they should look like. I know how they should be acting, and I don't get caught by surprise quite as much when those things are fresh in my mind. Once you you get one setup that works over and over for a little while, you get really comfortable with it. You get really good at it, and you know exactly how it's supposed to work. But we don't see many of these setups frequently enough for that to become automatic. So what I want you to start doing, and maybe you're doing it now, but I want you to either start or continue to do chart markups at the end of every day, and then start classifying them somehow in your system. Just classify them. And I'll just grab a chart. There's a chart. Luckily, I grabbed a chart that actually had a bunch of stuff on it. This is what they ought to look like. Now, is this exactly? No, but here's what really I want you to go through the entire day and talk about, are these setups, are what's going on in these areas. And what it tells me is, now this isn't a great chart for explanation of what's going on. These were actually trades that I made on this particular chart a very long time ago, because it had to be the ES trading at 2075. This had to be the ES. So, but this is the sort of thing I want you guys to do, and your capture programs will let you capture the chart out of your trading system, and then make these comments and commentaries, very well. And then what it tells me is it kind of tells me what you're seeing and what you're not seeing. It tells me, where some of the weaknesses are, if they are, and if you're seeing the right setups, all that sort of thing. And so that's the thing we're looking for. So you can do it however you like, but I'll give you some critique on your setups and on your charts. And the more detail you can give me, boy, the better off it is. So that's really just what I'm looking for.
All right.
There's a trend day. And in this situation, I put a 2-minute chart up, I've got a 5-minute chart, I've got a 15, and I have a 60. All in this in this chart. And this is the stuff that we watch for. And we'll actually spend some time talking about this in detail with respect to how trend days work, what should happen, and what we're looking for to get in these grinds higher and these strong trends that just keep motoring up. We have some rules and some ways that we can get in those without much damage, much risk on the downside, and small precise entries to help us get in. So there's some ideas on how to prepare your charts and what you want to watch for. We're going to spend a great deal of time watching ticks. We'll implement, after we get into the sessions, a few sessions, we're going to implement the internals and add the internals into our equation. But we'll start out fairly basic bar-by-bar stuff and then just add additional layers of things we'll watch and things that we'll be looking for, and then we'll just slowly build, really over the sessions, all of the components that are essential, I think, that will help give us that little edge, help give us a little higher batting average, a higher success ratio, how to avoid getting into bad trades, how to get a little more money out of the trades that we're in, knowing when to take them off and when to leave them on. So there's your homework for charts. The next thing is, guys, I want you to have some way, and I don't need to see these per se. We'll talk about them. If you want to share it with me, that's fine. But what we're going to do is I want you to start monitoring. If you don't, I want you to start monitoring your trades. Every one of them. I want them recorded. And, in fact, let me... I'm going to take you to a website, guys, that I think is absolutely the best trade analyzer program I have seen. Now, there's others out there for sure, but I've not seen one any better than this, that is simple and easy to use, and I use it, guys. And it told me a ton of stuff. And the thing I like about it is I trade through Interactive Brokers. And I can download my entire day's trades in a couple of clicks into the program. And it sorts them, it does everything for me. I have to go back in and manually put in some information. But as far as my entries, my exits, the times, number of contracts, profit, loss, commissions, all that stuff comes in automatically. It takes so little time to populate this program. It's an Excel spreadsheet, guys, essentially, and it's very nice, and it tells you everything that you want to know about your trades. And I'll give you an example. I've been using it about a year, maybe a little more than a year. And at the time, it's been a little more than a year. One of the things that became glaringly obvious to me is that these 1, 2, 3 continuation program trade setups fail more than they don't. And so I have a very, very strict set of rules that for me, now these aren't Prestine rules, these are Neil rules, and they've kept me out of trouble, and I've taken very few 1, 2, 3s. Consequently, the ones that I do take have a real high odds of working out versus the ones that don't work out because of this new set of rules. And I found that out based off this program. And so I'll share with you those rules in fact, the rules are in my trading program, my trading plan. That PDF that I sent you guys have those rules in there. And that's the only circumstances that I'll take 1, 2, 3. Now, the other thing is that I found that, and even though I kind of suspected it, because trading during the lunch hour is not a good idea, generally speaking, I didn't know how bad I was during lunch. This program will track the time of the trade, and it will give you information on these different times of the day, on your win-loss averages, your Sharpe, everything, on not only the setup that you're taking. So when you take an entry, you will say this is a head and shoulders, this is a 1, 2, 3, this is a breakout failure, this is a whatever it is. Whatever the setup that you're taking is, you'll log that setup, and then you record. The program, your trade blog will have recorded the results, but you'll indicate what the setup was. And the program, after doing the analyzing, week over week, told me that I absolutely stink between noon, roughly, noon, and about 1:30. I've got an hour and a half in there that I just try not to trade unless it's really, really good. Now, interestingly enough, some of my better trades during the lunch come at about 1:30 to 1:45. And I find that I've had really good trades during that time period, but not between noon and 1. I just if I'm in the trade, I'll watch it and I'll walk out. But if I'm just real careful to enter a trade during that period of time. Now that's pretty logical to most people, but it also taught me a few of the other trades that I had to modify. Guys, I don't take PBSs and PSSs much anymore. You guys are all familiar with the typical PSS, Prestine PSS, and Prestine PSS, and I don't take them very often anymore. I find that they work okay, but they don't work great. And I can find that I can stay in the 75-80% range on trades that work great if I wait for the right conditions to occur. And particularly lately, guys, this market has been poor the last number of months in follow-through and in range and getting good runners. Occasionally we get them, but not to the frequency we used to. And so I'm actually requiring a little more to occur before I get into a trade on these E-minis. And I'll share that with you. And I find that I can keep my batting average up and my profits up by being a little bit more disciplined on the trades. And a PSS, a simple PSS, not a high priority trade for me. And this program actually gave me some of that information on the batting averages and the success of a simple PSS or a simple PBS.
Neil,
I
have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
And actually, it's a question for everybody. Is anybody else interested in this program? Because my understanding is that the guy who did this program actually was or is a Prestine student.
He was.
Is there a way that Prestine can contact him and say, look, we're doing these things and we have a couple of guys and we're going to be doing it often. Is there a way we could get a discount on a group rate?
I don't know. Now, Prestine won't do it. Guys, in total full disclosure, let me tell you about this program and this gentleman. The guy that runs this, I don't know if any of you have been around long enough to remember him in Prestine. His name is Ken Guinness. And he used to be in the room as Guinness, Guynes. He hasn't been in the Prestine room for a couple of years. He actually is a friend of mine, and then now, guys, truly, I looked around and I was using I was using a program that I built. For years, I had spent building my own Excel sheet to keep track of all this stuff. And when he introduced this to me, in fact, there were several of us that were doing the beta testing on this program for a year before it became public, and we had a great deal of input. A number of the graphs that, as you see into your second page on this program, and I'm making a long or a short answer long, Jose. I apologize, but you need to know my relationship with him, so it's part of the decision process that you make. But I know him very, very well. But part of the graphs that you'll see are some of the input that I provide on. I'd like to see this, this, and this, and he provided some really cool graphs as to tracking and watching. The simple answer is I can ask him. Prestine will have no influence with that. Prestine has not been, Prestine has not been interested in really embracing this. They have their own trade tracking system that somebody built a spreadsheet a few years ago that you guys could duplicate in a couple of hours, and they have their own that they kind of have as their part of their arsenal. And for whatever reason, Greg has not been real interested, and he's made a number of attempts to talk, and had talked with both Greg and Kurt, and I gave both of them just incredible recommendations and support of the program, because guys, I love it. Even if he wasn't my friend, I would tell you, I love it. I really do, and I haven't seen one better. And I say there could be ones better out there, but I can talk to Ken and see if he would do a discount for you.
That would be great.
In that sense. And I can even give you his email well, you can email him right through the deal. But Prestine has not supported him at all, for whatever reason. I don't know. They really haven't.
Isn't Ken the guy who comes in the room?
No, that's a different Ken. That's Ken Luther.
Oh.
Yeah. Different fellow.
Yeah, that would be great if you could do that.
I think the program, guys, is only like $249 for a lifetime. So it's not horribly expensive, but I wouldn't be surprised if I would think he'd probably give you some discount there. So
Okay,
I'll
good.
check, and then I get back to you.
Okay.
So trade tracking, however you guys do it, really what I want to see is wherever you're at now. And do y'all have some system to know where you're at?
It's pretty basic.
Well, it's okay if
Not that sophisticated, but yeah.
just so you know where you're at. And guys, let me tell you the way I do it personally is my system actually breaks. So for example, and I do this, guys, if you've seen me trade in the room, I will take a lot and I will peel off usually a third, or a half and a half, depending on how it's acting and what's going on. All of this program will actually call, if I go in with a full lot and I come out in halves, it will call it 2 trades. The system will break it into 2 trades. I don't do that. I actually go back and modify it just slightly. I call it 1 trade because really it's 1 entry, and though I manage it on different increments, it's 1 trade to me, and I'm just trying to keep it simple. So what I'm looking at in my trading is I'm looking at my batting average on a total trade, and my Sharpe ratio, etc. And if I come out in one, all in, all out, or come out in 2 parts, or 3 parts, or 4 parts, to me that's 1 trade. And all I'm looking at is how many dollars do I average on a winning trade, how many dollars do I average on a losing trade, and what's my batting average. And mine is that simple. I don't want it to be more complicated than that. So I actually have to combine a couple of exits when I do this, but regardless, that's how I do it. So just as long as you have some system to track your trades, whatever that is, get that. And if you're not doing it religiously, I want you to start, because we're going to monitor the progress. I want to see that there is an improvement in both your batting average and your sharp ratio as we go through this and we go on past this. And guys, I promise you, if you follow these rules, it will. It will. And really, I think for your satisfaction and just your confidence and knowledge, you need to have that information. The good part is, guys, if you use a program like a trade analyzer like this one, you do put in, it'll ask you to put in what was the trade setup that you took. And as you monitor those trade setups, you'll find that there are some setups that you do much better on than others. And knowing that is, I think, important. So I just encourage you to take a look at it, and I'll get back to you guys by next week on this for sure. Any questions?
Nope.
Does it let you, can you name your own setups kind of thing? And
You can. In this program, Dave, you can. Now, guys, while I'm getting to learn your voices, if I call you wrong, let me know. I'm going to try to learn your voices as we go, and so I hope if I call you by the wrong name, let me know that I got the wrong person. Did I get that right, Dave?
it was me, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, yes, you can name your own setup. But most of these setups that are predefined in there are going to be Prestine setups, and then you can change those names. But you need to do it on the front before you start downloading your data, because it uses that in whatever's in that cell as your name. So you want to actually get your setups put in before you start populating your trades. Regardless, ongoing support. Now, one of the things that we'll do is I have a trading room that I am in, along with some other students and a couple of close trading friends that I've been trading with for a long time. You guys know HedgePath?
Hedge.
Yes. Hedge. Hedge is the guy in the ETR room. He is the master oil trader, and he's a master Euro trader. He and I have been trading for quite some time together, and he is excellent. We are in a room together, and in fact, Ken Guinness, the guy that made this program, is absolutely an exceptional trader as well. He is in there regularly, and then there's a couple of other fellows. You won't know their names; they're not really Prestine people that are in there, and then a couple of Prestine people who will come and go that you'll probably recognize a couple names. Some you simply won't. But I'll invite you to come into that room. It's a Skype room, guys. There are no graphs, charts up. There's no commentary like you see at Prestine. The purpose of this room is we're all watching different things, and we're all trading a little bit differently. I don't trade at all like Hedge. I don't trade at all like many of these guys, and they don't trade like me. And we are looking at doing different things, looking and trading different instruments. And I think what it will do as we get along, it will give you guys some exposure to some different styles, and you'll see. And guys, we keep the room, pretty strictly professional. We don't talk about baseball and football and movies and car racing or girls or anything else. It's all just trade stuff. And that way, as I'm seeing something, I may type in and say, guys, I like the Euro short here. I like wheat short here. I like oil long here. And many of these guys will actually post where they're going to go in, and you guys can see the trades. And if it makes sense to you, you can, obviously you can take the trade. That's what it's there for. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't do it. But what I've found is it'll help you recognize other setups, other methods that you may not be seeing as a normal part of your process. These guys are absolutely good traders. They are making a living doing it, and they're successful traders. So I can tell you that these guys are the real deal. We really don't have anybody in there that's not successful, that's not a good trader. A couple of guys that have come and gone get bored pretty quick when they really can't keep up, and because we're not doing explanations. We don't go through a lengthy explanation why this is a good setup. We'll just say, hey, that looks good, and occasionally I'll even say, what do you think? You guys like it? And somebody will pipe in and say, Neil, you're nuts. There's support right above you. There's a 20 moving average right there. There's something wrong here. And so I think as we get into this session and whatnot, I'll give you the invitation that you can come over and see that room, and you can participate at will. It's up to you. I mean, you guys can take it or leave it. It makes no difference to us. But I think you may enjoy it. That's just an invitation. Ongoing support, guys. After this is done, I do with my other students. I have kept track of all of them, and we'll check in and see from time to time how they're doing. If they're running into problems, I'm still having them send me a few charts, and occasionally I'll get on a Skype call with them. The good thing about Skype, guys, many of you know this, is that on Skype we can get on a voice call like this conversation, and I can actually pull up a chart on a one-to-one basis. I can't do it in a group, but on a one-to-one, I can pull up a chart, and you can see my charts live, and we can have quick discussions. If you're having a snag or if some concept's giving you trouble, guys, really, I'm here after a 10-session deal. It isn't like you can't talk to me, and we can't continue to have communication and some backup support. I won't spend 2 hours a week with you, obviously, but I am available enough to continue to give you some ongoing support when we're done. So my biggest goal is, guys, that you guys see a marked improvement in your trading, in your profit, and in your whole psyche. I want you coming away the majority of the time with a happy feeling at the end of the day that you executed well, you made a little money, and it wasn't a frustrating, painful day. We want to try to get rid of some of those days. So, I think that's all I can say about that. Here's my contact at the bottom. Make notes of these. Make notes of these. I would prefer that you use this other email address, only because I only check that Pristine box usually once a day, maybe twice if I know that there's something going on. And at times I'll go 2 or 3 days and never check it, just because I don't get a lot of mail over there. And this one is a little easier. This one is up all the time, and I'll see it. If you kick me an email, I'll see it. And there's phone numbers. You can reach me. We're all on Skype now, so you can contact me through Skype. And again, guys, if you give me a Skype message, and I don't respond immediately, don't take it personal. I'll get to it as soon as I can. Don't take it personal, because I will probably be slow getting back to you the majority of the time on Skype. Any questions? You guys are a quiet group.
All right.
Sounds good. Just a quick one. Do you trade the open normally? Because I notice you don't log into Pristine usually till late morning sometimes. Or
I don't. But yes, the answer is I do trade the open, and I even trade prior to market or pre-market. Yes, I do. And it depends on what's going on. But yes, I'm there to watch it. I don't log into Pristine because, first off, it's a bit of a distraction. And the second thing is, guys, I have found that I trade so differently than Kurt that oftentimes I feel like I'm undermining him, and want to give mixed signals, comparatively. So while he's in there in the morning trying to do his thing and kind of get his self going and get you guys all on the same page and moving kind of under his direction, I feel like I'm undermining that a little bit because I'm trading differently than him. I like the 1 minute. I like the 2 minute a lot. I'll take trades that he just simply won't trade, and sometimes, even as of late, I find myself trading against him, and I don't like I don't like doing that to him. So I think it's better that I'm not in there when he's working on trading and coaching and calling trades for the most part. So that's what I think. I do. Guys, the euro. I trade a lot the euro and oil, and particularly the euro trades very well prior to 9:30. So I'm looking at that stuff before our market opens.
I do most of my euro trading before the market hit.